Hello and welcome to a new series. Warframe is a free-to-play looter shooter where you play as a biomechanical machine of doom, taking on large groups of enemies with their unique abilities and around 500 unique different weapons and around 50 warframes. The 50 warframes are what we're here for. We have at least one of every warframe, either normal or prime. We'll be focusing on warframes exclusively for this challenge. Which warframes can you solo steal path with? Specifically on this area right here, using only abilities. That means no weapons allowed, and with the only exception being stat sticks. So, what's so special about Seal Path? Well, other than the slightly better mission rewards, the enemies are 100 levels higher, they have 250% more health, shields, and armor. For this stage, since it's only Grenier, we'll only have to worry about health and armor. Our objective will be to be able to consistently kill enemies, kill at least an Eximus unit optionally, and survive the mission. The reason I chose this stage specifically is because of how simple it is, and you can basically bum rush to the end, but there are several areas where there's a high concentration of enemies, and we'll be able to test how powerful each warframe is. You gotta love that dusty old planet. Anywho, let's begin. In alphabetical order, our first contestant is Ash, the Silent Ninja. This warframe, despite its relative oldness, released back in 2012, is relatively powerful. He has shurikens, smokescreen, teleport, and bladestorm as his ultimate ability. His smokescreen is very important for survivability, and the augment on shuriken allows us to strip armor entirely. This allows us to do high damage with bladestorm. We have to focus on having enough duration, efficiency, and power strength in order to have enough duration for smokescreen and enough strength for armor stripping. This means we'll be foregoing health, armor, and shields as we'll be invisible. Alright, let's get going. I'm expecting good results from Ash. Only thing he should struggle against are things that can detect invisibility, which there are none of in this stage. We'll find our first enemy. Take him out surprisingly fast. Let's do some testing. Our combat, which takes from our stats, will die immediately. Fate we will share if our defenses do not hold properly. Bringing the combat, by the way, was an accident. I will not bring pets for any other run. It's harmless here for the most part, since bladestorm does not get critical hits, even though shuriken does. But shuriken does not do a significant amount of damage. Or we don't use it for damage at least. I'm gonna provide my combat just because he keeps teleporting to me and I kind of feel bad for him. We're close to our first objective, which is this big room, perfect for testing our build. Oh, and there are Eximus here, perfect. Never stay still if the enemy's shooting at you, because even if you're invisible, they have a general idea where you last shot from, or where they last saw you. So it's a good idea to always move. Anyways, let's work down that Eximus barrier. We're able to strip down his armor. It's taking a while, but we're able to take it down, because our energy regeneration is so high and our efficiency is very good, so we do not use more energy than we gain. After a while, we're able to finish the Eximus off and take on most of the enemies in the area. There's a corridor here with a lot of enemies, so let's kill them all just to flex with Ash a bit. I even forgot the Acolyte showed up, so here we have a guest appearance from the Acolyte himself. I decided to stay back and fight him fairly. See how well Ash holds up against the Acolyte with only abilities. As you can see, Armor Strip does work on him, and we are able to deal with his shields. His armor did surprisingly enough come back, but it's only temporary. Armor Strip is eternal. Unless it comes back. Anyways, we have dealt with the Acolyte. Got ourselves some steel lessons from that as well. There you have it. Our first entry was able to finish the challenge. Ash is really strong in the late game with his armor strip and invisibility. How he fares against shielded units is a whole different issue, but that will be up there for a different series. Anywho, next up we got Atlas, the stone golem. Here we are presented with several difficulties which can cut our challenge short. Armor strip is very important with the Grenier part of the challenge, and our boy Atlas here has none of that. His fists seem to scale off of melee weapons as well, so we'll need to equip a stat stick. Atlas's abilities include Landslide, which is his kinda strong punch, Tectonic, his kinda useless for now defensive move, Petrify, its crowd control, and Rumbler, the distractions I guess. When an enemy is petrified and dies, usually with Landslide, it drops rubble, and that increases our armor and heals us. With an augment mod, we can make it so having a lot of rubble doubles our landslide damage, which makes it do more reliable damage. Rumblers are mostly just a distraction, while we can use it to buff ourselves a bit with health and survivability. That's one less mod we can use for our damage. Another note is that Atlas is immune to damage while he's sliding, so maybe that will help us survive. It'll be difficult to balance since we gotta balance energy, survivability, and damage. And while Atlas has some tools for survivability, the question remains, will his energy cave in first, or will his damage fall short, causing the entire build to crumble? First, let's see how much difference the mods actually make. We will use it first without any mods on the melee weapon, as in no melee weapon, and we'll see how that does. So you can see our damage is trash awful. So let's bring out our boys. It seems that this made absolutely no difference. Even with all this wailing on this one enemy, this one normal grunt, he still will not die. So you can see our health turns into a silver color, which indicates we are completely immune to damage. We only take damage once that goes away, and Atlas immediately fails the challenge. But it's not over yet. As I stated earlier, we need a stat stick to make it work. Here we have Rumblejack with some mods that might work. I was editing and I realized condition overload does not work on stat sticks. So there's that. There are a lot of enemies here, so this room may not be the best for this, but Atlas is not doing a lot more damage than earlier. There's a lot of enemies in this big room, so it might not be very good for us. And Atlas is at least doing way more damage. Unfortunately, we have met our match against the Sand Pancake. Desert Skates are super tanky for whatever reason, so let's ignore it. Now, we're able to kill a lot of enemies, but we ran into a big problem. We do not get enough rubble to heal, and we are burning energy too fast. We don't do enough damage. You could try Rage and Hunter's Adrenaline, but since we're immune during Landslide, it won't give us energy. So Atlas fails the challenge. So Atlas is blasting off again. What a pitch from the Kavats. Let's see it again in slow motion. Beautiful. In the next episode, we got Banshee. Stay tuned.